Happy Halloween, it's Reggie Green here with your weekly mortgage and housing update for October 31st. Now let's jump right in. This is going to be a very interesting and impactful week for mortgage rates because we have a ton of events that could affect the markets. So let's start off with what happened on Monday with the U.S. Treasury Department. The U.S. Treasury in the last fiscal year is running at a $1.7 trillion deficit. And they just announced on Monday that they want to take out $776 billion in more debt in quarter four of 2023 and $816 billion in more debt in quarter one of 2024. So why do we care? What does this matter to mortgage rates? Here's the reason that we care. So we are currently in a time where the economic numbers are showing a lot of growth and unemployment numbers are really low. So if you have a lot of growth and a lot of people employed, theoretically you should be getting more revenue and taxes. Thus you should be shrinking deficits. And we are not doing that, and we continue to take on more debt. Okay, now there's a theory or a possibility that there might not be as much demand for the U.S. Treasury debt as it comes out, because they're going to announce auctions, durations, things like that on Wednesday. Now, what could happen is right now, a lot of times you can get treasuries for about 5%. And if there's not as much demand, you could see that even raise higher. And if treasury rates go higher, mortgage rates typically follow treasury rates at a higher clip. So very interesting what's going on with the U.S. Treasury, and could U.S. Treasury yields going higher affect mortgage rates going higher? It'd be interesting to look at. On Wednesday, we have the Fed meeting as well as a statement and a press conference. As we saw in the last meeting, even if they pause rates, which basically everybody's expecting them to continue a pause, you could see rates move depending on what their commentary is. You know, last time they said rates are going to be higher for longer and had less cuts in 2024, and rates went up a ton. So that should be interesting, but we are definitely expecting a pause on Wednesday. And then lastly, you have the Friday October BLS jobs report. And the jobs report usually kind of gives us an idea of where rates are going to go for the month coming up. And last jobs report, the estimates and the actual numbers, the numbers blew out the estimates, and we saw rates go up a ton in October. So it should be interesting to see what the job creation numbers are compared to estimates. If we want lower interest rates, we want job creation to become lower than the estimates. So a lot of interesting things happening this week that could affect mortgage rates in the mortgage market. Right now, the average interest rate across the country is 7.92%. So rates have stayed pretty stable over the past week. Now, moving on Facebook on Monday, I posted a thing from the Cronfer report that I thought was really revealing. And what it was talking about is in Phoenix Metro, 47.1% of houses that sell have seller concessions on them. Now keep in mind, there is a large percentage of houses that sell in cash or are bought in cash. So the amount of concessions that people are getting on finance deals is very high. Now the other cool thing that they mentioned is that the average concession on a closing is $8,510. Okay, so a lot of people are afraid to buy in this market. You have higher interest rates, higher home prices, but I want you to keep in mind, okay, with what you're seeing in the concessions. Number one, inventory is going up quickly in Phoenix Metro, which means you have more negotiating power. If the average seller concession is $8,510 on a $400,000 purchase, that's going to be able to get you a 2-to-1 buy down just with that concession. A 2-to-1 buy down is a 2% lower rate the first year, a 1% lower rate the second year, and the normal rate starting in the third year. Okay, that would also get you a 1% rate lower on a permanent buy down. So if you didn't want to mess with a temporary buy down and just wanted a 1% lower rate permanent buy down, that would do that for you as well. So if you are afraid to buy in this market, just keep in mind there are a lot of creativity. There's a lot of creative options that we can do to get your payment lower and to get your rate lower. So give us a call. We can go over all those options and make sure you're well educated. I'm Reggie Green. Happy Halloween. Hope you have a great night. Go Diamondbacks.